my favorite day of the school year, by far. It's great to be here celebrating the graduating class of 2016. You are special, special people. In our society, we have a tendency to speak only about people's successes. We don't realize that successes often come after many, many failures. I want you to think about a time when you failed at something. And then I want you to think about how you handled that failure. Because the course of your life will be determined in large part by how you handle your failures and what you learn from them. The first time I remember failing was in the 4th grade. I received an F on my report card in deportment. That's behavior. My problem was that I talked too much. When the report card came home, I begged my mother not to tell my father. And at the time, he was off fighting in Vietnam. He came home for a couple of weeks to see us, and my mom told him. Can you believe it? He called me into his office with a very stern voice. I was scared to death. Disciplining people in the 1970s, a little different than now. So I was ready for a sword behind. Instead, my father looked me straight in the eye and said, if you spend your life talking instead of listening, you will never learn anything. Do you understand? I said I did, but truthfully, all I cared about was not getting spanked. I left thinking I was the luckiest kid in the world. I just didn't understand at 10 the importance of what my father told me. 3 months later, my father was killed in Vietnam. And the last thing I remember him telling me was, if you don't stop talking, you won't learn anything. My dad's words still echo in my head to this day. Listen to those around you and those who have gone before you. Listening will get you much farther in life than talking. Susan Cain said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we should use them proportionally. My next major failure happened in the 9th grade. There's a theme here. I had a history teacher named Mr. Morgan. He was the oldest teacher I ever had. He had been my mother's history teacher. He had been teaching at least 40 years. There's a Sam Seljuk in here somewhere. When the year started, Mr. Morgan left class every time he gave a quiz or a test. I am ashamed to admit that knowing he was going to leave, I purposely sat next to the smartest kid in the room. After 3 weeks, I had straight A's due to my good friend Doug, who I cheated off of for every single exam or quiz. One day, Mr. Morgan asked for a private meeting with me. He said, Jim, where do you think I go when you take a quiz or test? I looked at him with big eyes and said, I don't know, I'm too busy taking my tests. He pointed to the window in the room, which was outside. He said, I walk outside and I look in the window and I see what you're doing. He then said, I have never been as disappointed in a young man as I am in you. Your mother would never have cheated. He looked me straight in the eye and said, Jim, never lower yourself. How you behave when people aren't watching is the true judge of your character. And he looked at me and said, as you go through life, never cheat. Kendrick Lamar said, live your life, live it right, be different, and do different things. I learned from my failure and decided to live my life right. I never cheated again. My final story to share comes from my senior year in high school. I was the starting point guard on our basketball team. I had a pretty good senior year, averaging about 16 points a game. In our first playoff game, we were down 1 with 10 seconds to play. The other starting guard fouled out, so I had the ball in my hands, knowing I would be the hero. As clear as yesterday, I can remember driving to the basket. 5, 4, 3, 2. I let the shot go. I am going to be the hero. It bounced around the rim and rolled out as the buzzer sounded. Not the hero, I was the loser. As I walked to the locker room with my head down, every one of my teammates came over to me. Don't worry about it. We had a great season. We lost as a team. This loss was not your fault. What did this teach me? Surround yourself with positive people and depend on them when life gets you down. Cesar Chavez said, "You are never strong enough that you don't need help." You see, the biggest mistake you can make in your life is to let failure stop you from trying again. After playing for 15 seasons in the NBA, Michael Jordan reminds us it is important not to dwell on the past. He said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take a game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. I missed the shot. I went to school the next day and kept moving forward." Dealing with failure is difficult because, as I said before, success depends on how you handle your failures. President Obama said, "The future rewards those who press on." I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I am going to press on. When I was young, everyone said high school was the best time of your life. They were wrong. The best time of your life is yet to come. But high school taught me some fundamental values of life. Don't talk too much. Listen to those that came before you. Don't cheat. Surround yourself with positive people and always move forward. And remember, most of all, how you behave when no one is looking is the true judge of your character. I look forward to hearing about all of the future successes the Watkins Middle High School class of 2016 will achieve. Thank you for this honor. You are a special group of young men and women.